Hello, MB Timers! Those guys of you who are watching me, the friendly neighborhood INFP, or should I say your friendly neighborhood INFP? I mean, I'd like to be your friendly neighborhood INFP. I'm sure we'd have loads of fun. But I digress. As for the winner to the contest that I posted about 2 weeks ago, nobody won because nobody sent anything in. So the next time there is going to be a chance to win $100 and possibly some merch will be when I'm at 500 subscribers. After that, we might as well get into the video, which is the ENTP. Why doesn't this chair move more than I... TP... No, I'm gonna practice that. Gonna practice. It's gonna be better. Anyways, ENTPs are a interesting lot. They are people who, on the better days, will debate for you. I suppose they would debate for you, but that's not what I'm going with. They would debate with you on just about anything. Not because they want to be like, I'm smarter than you, but because they genuinely want to know what you're thinking, how sharp are you, what are your thoughts, are you open-minded. They have a million thoughts running through their heads, and they're trying to assess out. Did I say that right? They're trying to figure out whether or not that they can banter with you, or if they have to tone it down, so to speak. This is on the more healthier ones. They will do it in a form of checking out your intellect, how witty you are, how fast you are in your intelligence. But they're also the people who are constantly questioning everything that happens around them. They have a lot of questions and they formulate a lot of opinions and thoughts on those questions that happen around them. Not only that, but they're also a lot interested, quite a bit, I might add, in patterns, or this could be patterns in so many different things. But oftentimes it's like logical type of patterns as to how something connects with what, or like say maybe in a video game, how can somebody do this, or how can somebody have that, or how they're constantly trying to figure things out, but they're not trying to be like boring about it. They're trying to be fun about it, which is where their banter comes in. They constantly question, they constantly think, they constantly want to know answers to things, and they constantly come up with possibilities, which then leads us into why they are, or can at least be considered visionaries and various entrepreneurs, is because when they look towards those patterns that they're trying to figure out, that something will clue in and they'll be like, oh, this will be a brilliant idea, let's go and do this. Or they'll see something else, oh, this is brilliant, let's see what other people think. Remember, I'm talking about the healthier ENTPs here, not the negative ones that I will get to shortly. These ENTPs, the healthy ones that I'm talking about, will see things happening, see things coming, see multiple possibilities, much like the ENFP. In fact, the ENFP and the ENTP have a lot in common with each other, which is why I love writing them as the twins. They are brilliant, and they are quite honestly my muses. But the ENTP is the one who, because they want to see what will happen, will instigate things. They will cause one comment to go by and see what happens. And again, it can just be like an innocent comment that causes people to go off the rails because they saw something and oh, well, what about this? And they know they are fully aware that they're doing it, and it's simply because they want to see the reaction. But they also want to see, can I do this? Can I do that? What should I do? What shouldn't I do? And they are often very curious people. And vague. They're both very curious and very vague, which is what allows them to be visionaries and entrepreneurs, because that curiosity leads them places where other people may not initially think that they would go. The other thing that an ENTP reminds me of is a person who enjoys giving out riddles or giving out vague things. So, for example, the Cheshire Cat in Alice in Wonderland is forever to me an ENTP. Like, he's giving you the right answers, but he's not giving you the answers in the way that you'd want him to give answers. And it's simply to see how you'll handle that information you will give. Like, are you smart enough to understand what I'm telling you? Are you smart enough to figure out this puzzle? Are you smart enough to do, with just this slight hint, what I'm calling you to do? In video games, they will figure out patterns. Like, for example, I knew an ENTP once who figured out how to make Dark Souls, which is a notoriously hard game. He figured out how to break it to make it absurdly easy because he was curious as to how things worked and how one could make the game the easiest way through it. And this is a challenge to an ENTP. If this is hard, let's figure out how to make it easier. If it's easy, let's figure out how to make it harder. It's never one linear thing with an ENTP. They're always mercurial, they're always moving, they're always flowing, they always have different lines. Sometimes they will give you a simple answer, sometimes they will give you a complex answer. Sometimes the answer that they give you fits the mood. Sometimes that simple answer fits the mood, sometimes the vague answer fits the mood. It all depends on what they'd like to see from you in that time, in that moment, whether it be your intelligence, your emotions, your wit, your way about going about things. They want to see, okay, for example, if they were to give you a vague thing, whatever that is, to figure out a puzzle, and they gave you a hint, they would look and see how you would go about figuring out that hint, and then they themselves would go and try it, and then they'd go and see other different methods of figuring out the hint. Or then they'll be like, oh, okay, that person isn't doing it the way that I would have done it. Interesting. Is their way better or is their way worse? Let's find out. They're like the INTP, except extremely exaggerated in these matters. ENTPs are also, shall I say, some people will say that ENTPs are one of the more introverted extroverts. I hate that phrase. Well, simply because of how NE works. It's not a very extroverted function like C, T, and Phi is. It's like the most introverted of the extroverted functions despite being extroverted. If you put it up with an introverted function, there's going to be worlds of difference. You're going to notice it immediately that they are an extrovert, usually. Like, if you put them, like, right beside a NI user or put them right beside a Phi user or anybody who is an introvert, like heavily introverted, you will typically notice these traits come out. Now, personally, not part of the ENTP thing, but I believe the ENFP is probably the more introverted type out there when it comes to extroverts, but I would say that ENTPs would go a little like close behind with the ENFP, simply because, once again, they're constantly thinking, they're constantly pondering things, they're constantly trying to figure out how life works, they're trying to figure out how they themselves work, they try and figure out how school works, how the system works, and then they try and figure out how they can break it. Simply for the fact of breaking it. And this comes with their desire to debate. Their debate isn't always malicious as people will perhaps put it out there for them. Their debate is a form of mental exercise. It is a form of them honing their intelligence while also testing out yours. It is them checking to see, okay, if I have this fun little banter here, what will happen? Like, can I hone my craft with this person? And not only that, because of their curiosity, they will debate with people. And it may not, like, may not even agree with what they're debating. They will they will become the devil's advocate just for the sake of being the devil's advocate, for no other reason than to see how will you answer. They will see both sides of the argument because they're open like that, and they will choose often the path of either higher resistance or least resistance. And it depends on what they might find as more fun in the moment. And so they will debate that subject, but not because they're asked to or because of this, that, or the other. Like, they may be part of the debate team in school, maybe, if that's what they're interested in, but they may not care about that and may debate the very debate team. They may debate the very debate team in the school despite not being part of the debate team. Wow, that was almost a tongue twister. Almost. If I added more D's and rhymes in there, that would have been a tongue twister and I would have gotten more kerfuddled than I already have. Continuing on. On the more negative aspect, which is what I was going to talk about, with the ENTPs, they can be very callous, they can be uncaring, they can be cold. Well, no, I wouldn't say cold, but mean-spirited. They want to see, they'll find pleasure in seeing you hurt, and they'll find out what makes you tick and target those very spots just to see how much they can hurt you. Like, yes, this is the negative part of an ENTP, obviously. This is also the reason why ENTPs can and often are considered the trolls of the MBTI types. Is it fair? Maybe not. Maybe so. It really depends. But because they enjoy causing conflict, that is why they are considered trolls, even if it is the online trolls.
Me, never. We are trolls, big black holes instead of souls.
Preying on the weak and dumb.
Just for fun.
We are trolls.
Online trolls. Chaos is our only goal.
Chaos in complete control. We are the trolls.
Although I don't think it would go that far, but I'm sure if some were in like a really dark place, it might. Remember, with these general videos, I'm trying to keep a more positive outlook while throwing in some negative viewpoints as to what each type may have going for them. Although I'm pretty sure with some videos I haven't done that. As for jobs, once again, it can be anything for an ENTP as it can be anything for any other type, but the reason why they're going into it will depend on whether they find it challenging, whether they find it intriguing, whether they enjoy the aesthetic patterns that come with the job, whether they enjoy the logical consistencies that come with the job, whether they can enjoy utilizing their intellect when it comes to the job. They're all about trying to go with what may help them grow or what they can do to help that place kind of grow, but not in the way that that place thinks they'll help them grow, if that makes sense. They're usually ones to, if they're like going towards a dream or a goal, they're ones to go towards something that they believe they can have fun with in some way, shape, or form. And if they can't have fun with it, they'll usually drop out and go and do something they do consider fun. And usually it's something that allows them to utilize the patterns that they come up with in whatever craft it is that they're going with to allow them to go further into it if they do desire to go further into it. It is also what allows them to notice things really quick. Like, for example, somebody had once said, what was her name on the Supergirl, the first season of Supergirl? The owner of the, I guess it would have been newspaper company. I forgot what it was called. But and I forget her name because it's been years since I've seen the show, so I don't remember her name. But the leader of that journalism place was said to be an ENTP because she figured out things frighteningly quickly. Even secrets, she would notice the patterns and figure it out. Like, that is oftentimes what an ENTP do. You have to be really good at keeping secrets from them, because if they're determined to find out your secrets, they will. So where INTJs are keeping their secrets, an ENTP is figuring out what your secrets are. They're finding your secrets. An INTP is keeping, not INTP, an INTJ is keeping your secrets. So it's an interesting difference between those two. And sometimes they may even keep the secrets, but they'll still find them, and they may decide to use them against you or for your benefit. You don't really know. But they can cause trouble, cause pranks. They enjoy pranks because oftentimes they like seeing where it will lead, like seeing people's reactions, and like formulating plans as to, okay, well, that was a pretty good reaction. What can I do to make it better? And as for their friends, they are and can be very loyal, but oftentimes they will have, and this is an interesting part of an ENTP. Most people don't realize this, but part of them always has this tendency to want to make you learn something, whether it's like through vague comments, whether it's through a debate, whether it's through a conversation. They're always wanting to cause you to learn something, to grow, to realize things you didn't realize before. They will, and if they realize that they can't impart any wisdom or knowledge on you, they'll typically stop doing it, or they'll move on. And they'll move on, not or. Although sometimes they may even keep those people. But the reason why I say this is because there is a Japanese creature, mythological creature out there called the kitsune. The kitsune is a very mercurial creature that harnesses the emotions that's around them, that like it uses them to blend in and meet with people, but it's also used as a story mechanic for people doing bad things or people doing good things. It rewards the bad with the bad and the good with the good. It is a very story-based creature that very much depended on who it ran into, and there was always a lesson to be learned whenever you ran into a kitsune in Japanese mythology. At least the ones I've read, that's been the case. Although, couldn't one say that for every mythology? I feel like the kitsune is like a prime example of what an ENTP would do, however. So, with that being said, I will leave that there. You can let me know if I was right or wrong or got most of it right. And with that being said, I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.